So I'm not gonna lie to you. This is incredibly weird. Having to speak to camera, um, without any sole purpose of starting a conversation with anyone except myself. So trying this out for the first time as a full open conversation with myself to introduce you to who I am and a bit about myself. Because let's face it, I tried my first episode to be a Q&A and it just wasn't working. So after trying and error, we're still testing. And this should be, hopefully, my first episode of my podcast, which still does not have a name. And I will allow my audience to pick and come up with any name they want to do. But I don't want this to be about me. I don't want it to be about, like, Obea's podcast or something like that. I want it to be a general open thing where hopefully soon enough, once I have the money, I can invest into buying another mic, maybe getting a better setup where I can actually have someone seated down with me. Maybe even a better camera. Right now I'm using my phone. Of course the quality is a little bit shite, but it will get there eventually, step by step. So hi guys, I'm Vale. I'm 18 years old. I'm soon to be 19. And I have been a content creator since I was 14, so almost 5 years of that, which is pretty crazy to say the least, I have to say. It kind of all started with music, so I first wanted to introduce like expression of music and how I felt and all that stuff, so I was writing poetry, which was linked to rap in the beginning. It's where it all started off with rap, and then from there it went into just poetry, and from poetry it went into pictures that I would take of myself, and then after pictures I would take for myself, I would put poetry in the bio, like in the caption, and I would try and express myself. Eventually I got bored of that and I started working in social media when I was 16. So post-pandemic, approximately post-pandemic, during the pandemic actually, not post-pandemic. And anyways, that's where it all began. That's where the whole growth began. So starting off obviously with the pandemic, let's talk about that. So during the pandemic, I didn't really create content except TikToks. So were they TikToks or musical.ly? They were TikToks, yes. It was the beginning of TikTok, I remember that. I remember sitting in my room every day for 3 months straight, just playing guitar and trying out new things, playing video games with my friends or whatever. And I would try to use my time wisely, but I spent so much time on my own, I started to realize a lot of things about myself. And I remember saying to myself that one of the biggest things I wanted to do was to take control of my life and start to head it in the direction I wanted to head it into. And that kind of perspective change is what sparked my creativity to finally take into place and really push for something. And only after the pandemic calmed down did I go and find a job. So I had already submitted a couple of applications, but even stupid jobs like McDonald's had rejected me because they had no space to put anyone in, which was a blessing in disguise because I ended up in a little skate store in Msida next to the skate park, and that's where it all began. That is where my career all began. I first started off as a sales assistant, and then a month in, he kind of realized, like, oh, you're a fast learner, like, you really got used to this and everything, and he started to teach me more stuff, and he wanted to push marketing. And the only marketing I knew was social media because that's what I was always doing as a side hobby. And I took it seriously then. I started using it for my job to try and see how I could push. And surprisingly, I was quite good at it. I was quite good at being able to attract people into the store from the outside, which was really, really cool considering I didn't have much experience. From there, I learned the basics of marketing through social media. And through there, I learned the basics of selling as a salesperson, the importance of being around people and all of that. And after a year and a half of working there, I decided I needed a change and I needed to try something new. So, during my working period, I was balancing school and I was balancing work. But school back then was online school, and that was the most horrifying year of my life. It was the downfall of my education, the downfall of my motivation, and yet I still managed to squeeze 6 months of it until eventually I couldn't do the last 3 months of school. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm exhausted. And so after having such great grades in the beginning and really dedicated to my lectures, I'd sit here on this particular table and have my laptop in front of me. I remember I didn't even have a setup back then. All of this was gone. It was just a laptop. And it was just me sitting there for hours and hours, doing my lectures, doing my homework, my assignments, whatever, and getting it all done. And the only thing that would get me through my day was simply my philosophy lecturer, my sociology lecturer, and my psychology lecturer. So I really enjoyed being able to sit down and learn these things, but eventually I lost my motivation and I wanted to quit school. I wanted to drop out and I wanted to stop. And lots of my friends were like, you want to drop out? Like, you're the person that gets everyone into school, that gets everyone into loving subjects. And I'm there like, yeah, it's over. So I kind of stopped going to school for the last month and started to focus on work more. And I kept working and studying, but not really studying. I'd have my laptop with me at work. It would be sat there. I'd be muted and camera off, and I'm there working the cash register, working the stock, working the social media, while I'm just supposedly in a lecture. And once, I remember this one time, I had my lecture on my phone, and a client walked in, and I kind of muted down the button, and the guy was like, Beatrice, I need to speak to you right now, Beatrice. Where are you, Beatrice? I need to tell you about your marks and everything. And I was there like, I looked at the client and I go, can you give me 1 second? I grabbed the phone, I'm like, hi, sir, yes, I'm here. Switch it off again, and he starts speaking and blabbing about, and I'm there like, yeah, sorry, I'm in a lecture. And she's like, okay. It was really funny, because he's just like shouting in the phone. Anyways, so a year and a half of working there. Then I quit the job, but I didn't really have another job, which was a big mistake, because you never quit a job until you find another job, right? Or you have another opportunity that you might want to take into. So I quit the job. Not a clue of what I'm going to do. And 2 weeks pass, school starts. So now I was like, okay, I spent a year of working and I didn't take school seriously enough. And my results came back and I passed first year and got into second year. And I had the biggest dilemma. I was like, shit, I fucking passed. Like, I passed. What am I going to do? I shouldn't switch schools now. I shouldn't drop out now. I have another chance. Like, that's stupid of me if I don't take it. And I was so freaking stressed out about it. I was like, what am I going to do? So I went into second year. I quit my job. I went into second year and said, I'm going to take it seriously. I switched my subjects because the one subject that demotivated me was English A-level. And I switched it to... Oh, yeah. I switched it to biology A-level. I had biology intermediate. I did it in first year. I got a C. I really, really love biology. I still do. But taking biology A-level in second year is a stupid idea because first year contains a lot more material and second year material makes no sense without first year material. And all I had was the basics of intermediate. So, surprisingly, I didn't do too bad in the beginning, but it did eventually get harder. And I did not do my exam. I applied and did not go. I failed my A-levels because I didn't go to biology, and I failed sociology because I didn't study enough. I barely cared, because I had a roller coaster ride with school. I would feel some sort of motivation, and I'm like, ugh. The second I have an assignment, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. So, I had the weirdest relationship with school because I loved learning. I just hated the system of how it worked and how I have to prove myself with grades, and I didn't want to do that. So second year, just a few no, just a week into Freshers Week. So Freshers Week is beginning of October. I go and I basically had a 3 hour free. And I look at my phone and I see everyone posting 3 hour. Now, if you don't know what 3 hour is, well, most of the locals do. If you're not a local, it's okay. 3 hour is this social media Instagram platform, but they're also they're a student platform and they're a student app. So they have an app and they have the Instagram, which is mostly known for their Instagram. And they were there hosting their Fresher Week stand, and I saw these posts of people getting free donuts from them and all of that stuff. Now, I wasn't interested in the donut. I was like, social media is really nice. I really like it. I really learned a lot in my old job. Let me, shoot my shot. So I go to the stand, and there were 3 people there. I think it was 3 people. Yes. Or 4. I don't remember. 3 or 4. And I go, and I say, hey guys, I'm really not here for the donuts. I really wanted to speak to you about something. And I basically started to tell them how I had just quit my job from a store manager / social media manager for a skate store. And I've worked in XYZ, I have XYZ skills and all of that stuff. After I told them all of that, and they looked at me and they go, you're just in luck. Tomorrow we are releasing internships. I was like, yes. So I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to wait for the internships to release and I'm going to apply straight away. So I applied. I put a photo of my face so they'd remember me. And I sent in the CV. 2 weeks passed and I got no response, and I was really, really scared. I was like, oh no, they probably don't want me. They probably not going to have me. So I went to look for another job and I tried letting. Worst decision of my life. Thank God I easily stopped it. Imagine working in letting at 17. So I quit the job in 2 days. The second I signed the contract was the day I left, because I was like, I'm not staying here. This is a disaster. Anyways, the day after I quit my job, this letting job, whatever, it wasn't really my job, I sit down with my friends post lectures, we're having lunch or whatever, and my friends go, oh guys, I'd really love to work with 3 hours. Yeah, like they're such a great team, like I really love what they do. And I'm there like, oh, 3 hour. I was like, oh my god, they never got back to me. I kid you not. 5 minutes later, I get a call from an unknown number, and I'm there like, I'm gonna answer it because it's local. So I answer it. Hello? Hi, this is Gabe from 3 hour. I was like, hi, I'm Bea, nice to meet you. And I panicked because I was like, I just spoke about them like 5 minutes ago. And they called me and whatever, and we started having a chat, and I get an email from Gabe, who was HR at the time. And he sends the email saying that the call was a trial to see how I would react, and I reacted perfectly how they expected, because I was like extremely nervous and excited, and I got the first interview. So I got the first interview, and the first interview was a Zoom call. I was really excited. I was like really happy. I was like telling my friends, I was like, guys, I got the interview. And afterwards, I had this Zoom call meeting, and we spent a nice 20 minutes speaking to each other. And they told me that I'd go through for the second interview. The second interview never happened. They gave me the job straight away. They gave me the internship straight away. I go to the office, I meet everyone, and I instantly clicked with everyone in the office. The team was amazing. And I was the 13th member of 3 Hour, I think. At the time, I was like the 13th member of the team at the time. And I started my internship there. I did 2 months, and then I did around 9 to 10 months as an employee. And so there I was, starting my journey with 3 Hour, and it was an amazing year, like almost a year. I worked there for 11 months, And it was an amazing experience. And I was juggling school and work yet again. But I would always show more interest in work. And school, I started to actually completely ignore for a very long time then. I spent maybe 4 to 5 months not doing much of school. I would just like let things pass, and my teachers knew how smart I was. Like I would always be the first person to speak in class, but I'd never give them work or assignments or anything, and they'd be like, "But why do you do that?" I'm like, "But I work, and I really like work, so I'm sorry. It's my choice at the end of the day, right? I put myself in school, right? So whatever." As much as my teachers did believe in me, they did also believe. I adored the teachers who also believed that I would do such amazing things with my work. So it was really sweet having to see that. And I did end up finishing second year with all my intermediates, but none of my A-levels. And that summer, I decided I was going to do one more A-level to try and replace biology. So I started studying economics A-level, which was thanks to my best friend at the time, who inspired me to get into it, and I really, really liked it, and I still love it to this day. I need to sip of my tea. Anyways, so I started economics. I have only 6 weeks to study economics because the exam was in August, and I started studying in July when I found out my results. I think it was July. Anyways. So, crash courses, Julia teaching me everything, days on days on days after work, where I just go to her house and study and study and study and study. And we really studied together, like extremely studied together to get everything done. And SOC as well, because I failed SOC, because I did not put any effort in SOC. I was like, this is the easiest thing, I'm sure I'll do fine. I failed. People who didn't study got an E, and I failed. Anyways. And I studied economics for 6 weeks. I had my exam. I passed SOC. And I really studied for SOC this time. I got it a D. I was like, okay, fine, I passed. But I swear I would have gotten a B or a C. Like, I was so confident in what I was writing. I was so happy with how much I knew. I was like, yes, I know this. But I got a D. On the other hand, economics, I failed. Economics is not an easy subject. It's not something you learn on your own. It's not something you can easily apply on your own either. And the graphs really screwed me up. But anyways, we got the results, and me and Julia at the time were planning to go to uni in the Netherlands, which was her idea for a very long time. It was something we came up with when we were 15 as well. It was like, why don't we study in the Netherlands together? And all of that stuff. And it first motivated me, but then I realized how much I fell out of love with so many subjects. And I was like, school really isn't going for me, you know? And I stuck to the idea of trying to study business for a solid 6 months. Like, I really stuck to it. I was like, okay, this is the longest I've ever been determined to something. When it came to school. Because when it comes to my career, on the other hand, like what I'm doing with social media is something I've had in my heart for 6 years, and it hasn't died out. So thankfully, it's still there. But I, last minute, okay, like a day before JC applications closed. JC is the sixth form that me and my friends used to go to, and that's where I did my first 2 years. And you usually only do up to 2 years, and then you get into uni. But I didn't get any A-levels. I didn't get enough points. So I ended up being unapplicable for uni. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a gap year. I'm going to study the A-levels I need, and we're going to go. We're going to go to uni. We're going to live our lives. Well, so the day before applications closed for JC, Julia looks at me. I'm in her room. Okay, we're studying. And she goes, should we apply for JC again? And I go, huh? She's like, yeah, I just had like an epiphany. Like, why don't we go to JC again. It just makes more sense. I was like, oh my god, you're right. Why the fuck don't we do that? And we fucking applied. We applied last minute. We called. We were like, hey, we want to apply to JC. We're already done our second years, but we're planning to do another first year. And they go, well, you're lucky because tomorrow they close. I was like, oh my god. So we got them done. We applied. Accepted. And then somehow, I don't know why, I applied for economics and marketing A-level, right? But then I also added pure maths intermediate. Right? Me. Like, if you don't know me, I suck at numbers. I am not good at numbers. Like, not even counting money. I can't. I can't. I got good at it because of my old job in sales where I'd have to count the cash. I got used to it. But counting numbers on a screen or on paper, no. Not me. Anyways, I did drop your maths after 3 weeks. So it's fine. I only did like 6 lectures of pure maths. No, I really couldn't do it. I even bought the book and everything. How stupid. Anyways, so it begins. I start my 3rd year. And my marketing lecturer, for those who understand me, for those who know, he's great, but he's not a good lecturer. No offense. Anyways, at least for me, he wasn't a good lecturer. I was there sitting in class. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are we learning? This is not what we're meant to be learning. But anyways, he's a very cool guy, but he's just not the best marketing lecturer. Anyways, my economics lecturer, on the other hand, was amazing. He was freaking amazing. And he really helped me develop more of a passion for the subject, and it really helped. He really helped as well with like one-to-one sessions where it helped me with second year stuff because I was in first year and I was trying to get this all done in 1 year. And the kids in my class were amazing. They were 2 years younger than me, but they were honestly amazing. Like, I've never felt so much closer to a class than I did when I was in my first year. My first year, it was really hard to connect because obviously we were online, but going into second year, it took us some time to adjust to get used to each other again. But this first year class was amazing. Everyone kind of like vibed with each other and all that stuff, and even marketing class and everything. But anyways, after 2 months, I dropped out. Yes. So I had stopped working with 3 Hour in September. Like September, something like September. And then I got a new job with Bulletproof Culture, which is a fitness platform. It is an Instagram platform that focuses on educating, influencing, and inspiring fitness in Malta and internationally. And they're a really cool company, and I just stopped working with them a couple of days ago, actually, for the sole reason that I now have new projects on my mind, and I want to focus on those, and I have some really cool stuff I want to work on, so I'm really excited just to focus on my own stuff. Anyways, so I started working with Bulletproof Culture, and I really realized how much I love my job, how much I love my role, and the fact that I could work in social media and influence people's lives and work with such inspiring people, that it was just so hard to say, I really want to go to school for 5 years, 5 more years, and then eventually start working when I'm like 25. No, I want to do this. I want to be on the field. I want to be around these kind of people. I want to do these cool things and all of that stuff. And it hit me, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take the step. I cried a lot to come up with this because I have been thinking about dropping out for 3 years. And I dropped out. I remember sitting in the principal's office where you have to explain to them, not to yourself, that why do you want to drop out? And I bursted out crying. Like the second he asked me, I bursted out crying. It was really embarrassing. I don't know how many people have seen me cry. I cry a lot. I'm very sensitive. Sorry. And I bursted out crying with him and the therapist guy who was there. and explaining like, listen, dude, I've been thinking about this for 3 years. Please understand. I can't. This is not for me. Anyways, so now it is February. I've dropped out of school officially 3 months ago. 3 going into 4 months ago. And I also, as I said, stopped working with Bulletproof Culture. So, I have a total experience of 3 years, almost 3 years, working in marketing and digital marketing. I have learned so many different things from work. And I've excelled more in work than I have excelled only in school. Now, that doesn't stop me from learning educational stuff like school. Like, I've always loved social sciences. I took interest in every single subject I had, and I tried to excel with it in knowledge-wise. I tried to excel with knowledge as much as I could. But I never given assignments and stuff like that, because it just wasn't my thing. It's like, as long as I know it, I'm fine. But when it comes to work, and I'm giving a task, and it's very challenging, I will put my utmost into it if my environment allows me to grow into it. So, if you nurture me, and you put me in a place where other inspiring people are around, and they continue to grow into what I want to do, and help me, you would be surprised how much progress can be made. Like, I've realized I'm a fast learner, and especially when it comes to passion, I love working in a social media environment and in a place filled with inspiring people and individuals and shoots and content creators and booking in events and all of that stuff. I love it. But I need to be around an environment with people who match what I love. And I couldn't match that with school. With school, it was like this. I felt like most of us were so demotivated. I felt like most of us were just trying to figure out life, and that's the truth. Trying to figure out your life, and then setting your whole career path at 16 is disgusting. I can't agree with that. No way. Yes, I started building my career path at 16, but how was I supposed to say, I know what I want to do for the rest of my life? I didn't say that. I first started off my job because I wanted some sort of income. Because I wanted to take some independence in myself. But I wasn't expecting it to be my job. I wasn't expecting it to be my career, sorry. And it just happened. I just learned to love it. And I've never felt so much more passionate about something. And through that, I grew into the person I am today. And I've also gotten into fitness. Fitness was something that started off as well during COVID. And fitness is a very important factor for me. It is something that stuck with me for the last 3 years, consistently the last 10 months. And it's been insane. It's been really, really cool. Like, I'm almost going to hit a year of consistency, of just going to the gym and taking care of what I eat and training really hard and just being happy with what I do. And so much has changed me. And unfortunately, everyone needs to sort of realize that it's not a race to get to your best version. It's just a matter of pacing yourself to help what you want to do in order to figure out what your worth is and what you want to value your life off of. It's okay to be left behind from what you might see as behind, but the truth is it wouldn't be. It would just be you're in your own path, and it's just happening. It's just happening. No one's gonna tell you, like, hey, listen, hurry up, you're way behind. No. Everyone figures out things late. It's okay. There is no such thing as being late or early. Everyone figures out things on their own. Just let them. If that person hasn't figured out what class they want to be in, or what freaking career path they want to go in, or what color to wear today, it's okay. You'll figure it out eventually. No one's gonna rush you for it. Just take your sweet time, baby. No one needs to rush you. You don't need to rush yourself. Don't feel that stress. Just live your life. See what excites you or what doesn't. See what makes you want to dance and what makes you want to cry. Figure it all out. Take your time. Just because you're turning 20 doesn't mean you have to have your whole life sorted out because everyone else is getting married. Like, please, take your time and just find what you love. Anyways. So, that was a really quick, not quick, I mean quick, it's been 30 minutes. A rundown of things that are very personal to me. From the career side to the from the career to the school side, that is what kind of built my foundation of who I am now and what I base my values on. My work life is a very important factor to my life. And then there's the content side. And this is something I wanted to also explain. Why am I a content creator? Well, as I was explaining earlier, I believe I was explaining it earlier, I said that for me, I started off with expressing myself through poetry, and eventually I led into photography and all that stuff. Photography as in phone photos that I'd take of myself. Anyways. And to drive it down into a nutshell for you, content creation itself, like the way it is excelled for me in a way that I've progressed in it. I started off with just writing poems and then going into photos and then videos eventually. The reason why I do it and why I love doing it is because there's something about being able to take what is going on in here and bring it into reality that makes me so happy. And it's the same thing why I started fitness. Let me tell you why. I started fitness when I was 12 years old, actually. I had started doing home workouts and all that stuff, but I wasn't allowed to go to the gym. So I said to myself, I'll do home workouts and cardio and all that stuff. And then eventually, I'll start going to the gym. That's my main goal. So when I was 12 years old, I had this vision that I would be like this super fit person. I'd look really nice and aesthetic and all that stuff. So that idea stuck with me and I wanted to make it a reality. So I did all the things to make it visual. I started seeing my progress. And the same thing comes to my content. I don't do this because I want to earn something out of it or because I want to feel that sort of influencer portfolio or all of that stuff. I don't want that. I just want to be able to take my creativity, to take whatever is going on in here and express it and show it. Just visually show the work I could make and with my skills be able to form it in different ways. And just because you see a blank slate doesn't mean it should be a blank slate for forever. It can be drawn on and shaped in different ways, and that's what I love about it. That's what I love about having a camera and having something to edit this footage with, people to speak to. Anything can be transformed, and I just love it. And it's not a matter. That's why I don't have consistent content. That's why I don't have content that just, oh, she's a fitness influencer. Oh, she's a creative artist, content creator, whatever. I just do whatever I feel like doing. One day I could be doing a really sad piece on like a black and white video piece, and then the next thing you know, I'll be doing like a disco fantasy ball with a bunch of dressed up people in animal costumes. You know, I can do anything I want to because that's what my brain goes about thinking. A million things. I want to express that. I want to be able to say, okay, today I feel like talking about self-care. Tomorrow I feel like talking about why you should get into fitness. The next day, I'll start talking about why the color of the sky doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I'm inventing. But you get my point. So, I want to be able to express myself. And along with that, I want to be able to meet individuals who share that sort of need to express themselves. And that's why I love having a platform like Instagram, where I've met so many of my friends on. Like, so many of my friends, I met them on Instagram. And I'm so happy that I still have people who interact with me, who message me, who meet up with me. And they've all met me from Instagram like 4 or 5 years ago. It's insane. It's crazy. I love it. And it's another reason why I love social media. It brings us closer together. And one day, my biggest goal is to be able to bring this sort of community feel, to get out of this island mentality that we belong in our own little bubbles. I want to be able to break it out with content pieces and showing individuals who are in our day-to-day lives, but we don't realize they could be the next best conversation starter, you know? I just want to bring everything together. So, those are the main points as to why I create content. I want to be able to express myself from my creativity to physicality. I want to be able to bring people together and create some sort of change from the small island mentality. And the last thing I really want to do is voice out what unfortunately may be blocked off. So kind of bring out the chaos and dial it down and say, this is digestible for anyone. This anyone can understand. And just bring the message together. So yeah, that's why I create content, and this is why I wanted to start the podcast. I wanted to be able to bring in value for anyone who'd take in value. And if you're just passing by and enjoying the content, it gave you something, right? So yeah, I think that's cool. So guys, my tea has gone cold, and it's been 40 minutes. I would like to say thank you for joining in on the first episode. I still have no idea what the name of this podcast will be. But I think that was a lovely, open conversation. Even though I have no one to speak to, I'm just explaining a couple of things about myself. And hopefully the next one, I don't know if it's going to be the next one, but hopefully in the next coming episodes, you will see someone either sitting with me or on a call with me. And I would be able to speak about a really interesting topic that you may or may have not suggested. So we'll see. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a lovely evening, afternoon, morning, day. I'll be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.